What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Again, I am Kyle with Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. What we got going on here behind me is a 2001, 2? I don't remember. I apologize. I'll put it in my description. KTM. I forget it all. But anyways, I'll put all that crap on the thumbnail and the link in my description. Basically, these people are doing a roof right down the road from my house and saw the Raptor 660 I have for sale that I completely redid top to bottom, and actually called me and said, hey, we got a problem with this clutch. They put a new clutch reservoir on it, a rebuild master on it, and they can't get the bleed out, so they asked me to check that out for them. And also I found a couple other things as I'm just walking around it. I like to do a safety check on anything I work on. So I also found the chain is like guitar string tight, which that should not be right. The front brake lever, we were unloading, it was kind of locked up, but that kind of popped itself loose. So we're gonna clean that up a little bit, probably do that off camera. But we're gonna go ahead and walk around this thing, show you a few things that I found, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to bleed out this clutch for him. May have to take the master cylinder apart to see if he rebuilt it right or not. I'm not sure. Hispanic gentleman, didn't speak very good English. His wife was translating for me, which I should know Spanish by now. I worked with a lot of guys from South America, Mexico, and racing for many years. Just never really picked up on speaking it. I can understand a little bit, but yeah, just poquito, just a little. So we'll go ahead and jump onto this thing, guys. So like I was saying, as I was walking around this, I checked the brakes out. Front ones look good, but you can see right here, that's the chain. That is way too tight. You guys want to have some nice slack in there so the suspension works. Basically what happens when your chain is that tight and it tries to compress and the tire goes up in the back, it actually takes out that chain slack, and having it that tight actually makes your suspension, binds it up and doesn't let it actually articulate right and on the compression or rebound stroke or any of that stuff. So that causes big issues with that. Also pulls on your countershaft sprocket and back here and all this stuff. So you guys want to make sure you have some pretty good slack in this. I figured exactly how much it is. Also, the rear brakes look pretty decent in it. And then I did happen to see they use some RTV down here for their oil check bolt, which seems like it's apparently stripped out. Sometimes you can put a time cert in those with some red Loctite and sealant and never have a leak again. So we're gonna go ahead and come up here, drop this down on the lift, and take a look at what's in that reservoir. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and pop this reservoir off, cap off, to see if we can see if there's any fluid in here at all. So there is a little bit in there. Set that off to the side. And I can tell already we're really low on it. You see the fluids below that little guy, so it's not really pulling anything in. So we're gonna go ahead and add some fluid to that. And then what we'll do, we'll pump it up, come down here, and we're gonna have to pop that loose and then squeeze the levers, because I won't be able to tell. I can't get a wrench on here with this aftermarket plate to make sure that there's no air in the line. So we're gonna try that and see if that bleeds out. If not, we'll have to pull the master cylinder off and take it apart and see what's going on the inside. All right, so now we got some clutch fluid in there. We'll just go ahead and pump it up, see what she's doing. I can see a little air coming out of the line. So I'll pump this until I pretty much don't get any air coming out of the reservoir. And then I'll jump down here, break that loose, squeeze the lever, see if I get air out of that. So let's go ahead and pump this up for a while here, and then we'll break that loose and see if we get some air. GoPro stop. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this loose here. Should be an 8mm. We're just gonna pop it loose, which already feels pretty loose. Well, that's not good. And now we'll just go ahead and squeeze the lever. And I don't see anything coming out of it, so let's go ahead and tighten it back down. Which I think they may have stripped it out. I want to check to see if this thing is stripped out, because it's not moving hardly at all. They may have actually stripped out the... Yeah, that's what it looks like. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull this off, check the slave cylinder, and see if they stripped out the bleed valve on that, because it's not pumping up. Now I can see some fluid wanting to come out. There we go. So we'll hold that for a second, and let's see if it tightens back up at all. I don't think it's going to, personally. It feels like it's stripped out completely. Yeah, so what the issue is here is that they actually have this. This is completely stripped out. So we'll have to go ahead and pull off the slave cylinder here and see what we can do for it. All right, let's throw on some gloves here real quick. And let's see what we got going on here. I thought maybe this was all, down here in the bottom was all chain lube, but apparently not. Apparently it's probably mineral oil from the clutch reservoir because it is not leaking out, or bleeding out. So let's go ahead and pop this off 5mm. Pull all this off here. Pull off the slave cylinder. Just pops out like so. And then we're gonna go ahead and have to break that loose and see what's going on with that guy right there. I hate having to do this to this thing, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And of course the mating surfaces on this thing here also need to be cleaned up really good. You can see it has an O-ring for sealing, but the mating surface for it is all dirty. We need to make sure the mating surfaces are nice and clean. You can see there's an open bearing on that side. It stays lubed. So let's go ahead and take that guy off. Unfortunately, we're gonna lose fluid, not a big deal. And it's a 13 KTM. All right, well, gonna have to probably bolt it back on in place with a couple bolts real quick. Just to break it loose here. There we go. And the clutch cable's all bound up too. So I'm kind of glad we got that off of there because it was kind of bound up. Again, if you guys need help, you know, feel free to shoot me an email at limitlesspowersport78@gmail.com. Drop a comment down below. If you can't figure out how to work on something, I will be more than happy to assist you guys in answering your questions. I'd rather you guys ask questions and get it fixed right the first time instead of us having to go through things like this. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. We're men, we like to fix things ourselves. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can't get this guy out and to see if it's salvageable or not. May have to order a whole new slave cylinder for this KTM. That'd be a shame, but that's the way it goes sometimes. All right, so we got it cleaned up. One of the parts washer cleaned it up. Let's see if we can get this guy to come out because it looks like it's just gonna keep spinning circles because it's just that stripped out. Let's grab a yeah, I don't think she's gonna come out at all. All right, so while we're waiting on the part, that new slave cylinder for that, you guys can see we got a little bit of play here, but when it's down on its suspension, it's crazy tight. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and break this loose. We'll loosen this guy up a little bit and let's see what we got. It's unfortunate because that will definitely cause major issues down the road. And of course their nut on the side is kind of destroyed, but we'll get it one way or another. All we gotta do is loosen it a little bit. Perfect. And then go ahead and loosen our chain tensioners a little bit on each side. Make sure they're even. Get that ramp off of here. So we'll break this bad boy loose. And then what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we'll see where we're at here. We look like we're right beyond the second one from the end. And this, yeah, it's definitely, it looks pretty straight, but we'll check it out here. We'll go ahead and loosen these up and slide the tire forward, give ourselves a little more chain slack. You can just see how tight that is. It's got a tight spot in the chain. Right there's a loose spot. So we find the tight spot, and I'll try to loosen that up a little bit. Right there's a loose spot, so we want it adjusted properly at the loose spot. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it when they're that tight. So let's grab some tools here. Everything is just beat up on this poor motorcycle. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull these guys out here a little bit. Once again, that's on both sides. This nut's a little bit nicer over here. I'm gonna go in 5 flats on that one. And once we put that down on the ground, it'll definitely tighten up. When that suspension compresses, this will tighten up. It's a little bit, probably just a little bit too loose, but as you see, it goes around, it gets tight in certain spots. So we want to leave it right about there. I think that's the best bet. Now we'll just go ahead and tighten these back up, and we'll set it back down onto the lift, compress the suspension, and take a look at what we got going on. It's a very simple job. Maintenance on a chain and sprockets are crucial too for longevity. Clean them after every ride, spray them out really good. Don't use brake clean. You can use WD-40 or you can use chain cleaner on them. Scrub them out good, blow them out good, and lube them up. Makes everybody's life a lot easier in the end. So go ahead and tighten the nut back up. I grab one of my small wrenches here and I'll throw it down in here. That way if I do this, it pulls the whole tire forwards. All right, now we're going to go ahead and drop it down. Nice and slow here. There we go. Now you can see we got some pretty good slack in that chain. And as I compress the suspension down, which, holy smokes, his rebound is out of control. But you can see, gain slack as it goes up, gets tight, tightens it up. So now I'm going to apparently take a look at his shock, see what's going on. Check out his rebound adjustment. His compression is doesn't have hardly any preload in the spring. Let me just bring you guys around to this side and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so whoops. Look at the suspension here, okay? Move the camera up a little. It's got compression and you got your rebound screw. Compression is how fast it goes down. You can put preload in here. We'll make it a little bit stiffer and also help you keep off the bottom of the shock. A stroke of the shock, depending on your weight. You can change out springs all the time. Again, I'm not sure why they have a hose clamp around that, but to each their own, not mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust a rebound real quick. We'll grab a flathead screwdriver. Cause that thing's like a spring. I mean, watch when I push down on this. It jumps back up. So let's see, we'll go all the way hard. 1, 2, that's all the way hard. That's starting at 0. Go all the way out, which, you know, you do this, it should bounce. So basically what's going on now is that his shock is screwed up. His shock would need to be taken off, bled out, he probably has 0 fluid in it, and it probably has like no nitrogen charge to it at all. I mean, let's try adding some compression to it. 6, 7, 8. 7 from hard, and it just bounces back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know we're 7 from hard. Yeah, his shock is done. His shock is just destroyed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was at 7, and he was at 1, 2. Up. He's at 4 out from totally hard. So unfortunately for him, his shock is blown, be taken apart, recharged, just needs service. The seal head and all that stuff could be serviced on this, the bladder, everything, and then fluid gets put in it and it gets charged with nitrogen, and he'd probably have a great working shock, but I'm sure that's not gonna happen. So unfortunately, that is shot. Let's check his fork seals in the front. Fork seals don't look like they're bleeding anywhere, so that's good. So we're gonna wait on that clutch slave cylinder. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna do anything with this. We got the chain adjusted. Everything looks pretty good so far. And now we'll go ahead and wait on that slave cylinder for the clutch, and we'll knock that out. All right, so we finally got the parts in today. We have got this from Recluse because they do not actually offer the stock slave cylinder anymore for this this KTM. So we got this. It runs, I think, $199.99. Can't remember if there was shipping on it or not. Simple install, just like you had the other one. Well, he didn't have a gasket on that one, but this one has a gasket. And I don't believe this one has the O-ring on it, but got the gasket, new crush washers, and a bleeder tube on there. Follow the same procedure. I probably have to end up getting shorter bolts because of they had the protector on there. I don't think this Recluse protector, this one's gonna work with that. Yeah, it doesn't quite line up with this protector, unfortunately. I might be able to widen it out just a smidge actually to make it work. So I might give that a shot by widening this up a little bit to make this fit all the way down in there, nice and flush. That way we can actually use this on top of this so we don't have any issues down the road if they break a chain. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to widen this up a little bit, just kind of grind some of that off or file some of that off and try to get that to fit in there. All right, so it does come with the O-ring on the backside, which is great. So what I did, I just took a little angle grinder and I ground this out a little bit. And then it's almost like the bolt holes were just a smidge off on this thing. So once I ground that little backing off, this guy set completely flush against this case saver right here. So we're gonna go ahead and just mount that on there. We're gonna use our gasket. It does have a new crush washer down here. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that on there. So I'm gonna push the bike over. Let me grab a 5mm Allen real quick. Yes, this is a completely improper way to start them, but I'm being lazy. You don't have to make these very tight. Just hit it really quick. Go ahead and reinstall the clutch line. All right, we got the slave cylinder on there now. Got the line on. We got our bleed bottle to it. Now on this, you have to use a mineral or a silicone-based .5 brake fluid in the clutch up here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and fill that up. We'll pump this up a lot. We're gonna clean this out first, then we'll pump this up with .5, and we'll bleed it out here on the bottom, and that should give us some good clutch feel again. Then we'll take it for a test ride. All right, so we tried to bleed out the clutch reservoir and everything on this 01 KTM 250, but it would never pump up. So we went ahead and just ordered a master cylinder rebuild kit for it. Here's a part number if you guys need that. It's from All Balls. It's always a little bit cheaper if you do end up getting it from Alpha Amazon and not their website. Just go to the website, get the part number you need, and just throw it in Amazon, and you can get. I got that in a day, so that was kind of nice instead of having to wait longer than that. So we're gonna go ahead and take the reservoir top off, empty it out, pull the lever off, pull the internals out, check it. Go ahead and put new internals in and reinstall it. Unfortunately, his clutch perch is broke, but he has a washer and stuff on there, and he just wanted the thing bled out. So that's what we're gonna just go ahead and do. Go ahead and pour out all that junk. And I believe that's a 4. It might be a 3. Yep, it's a 4. And 8. Let me grab an 8. If I don't die there, strip it over my lift. It's a nice snap ring plier set I got from Snap-on. You guys seen that in previous videos. There's a part number on this one if you want it. I like it. It's got a pretty good array of snap ring pliers. And if you get bigger, of course, it's a little bit nicer to have a little bit bigger set. But this works really well for most everything I have on these smaller power sports vehicles. So that's nice. See how simple that was to get out. Snap ring, plunger. Boy, it looks like somebody may have damaged this thing pretty good. If you can see here on the edge where your dust cover goes in, it's a little messed up. So I'm gonna grab some brake clean. I'm gonna clean this out. Probably clean the reservoir out a little bit, blow some compressed air through it, clean it up, make it look really good. Make sure there's no issues anywhere that I can see. And we'll go ahead and reassemble it. All right, you guys can see everything is kind of separately numbered here. Of course, we got the silicone brake fluid. So we're gonna go ahead and take the plunger and spring, pull it out, and what I'll do, I'll just put a little bit. I mean, I could definitely tell the difference here on the plunger, how the other one was all, no kind of changing gears here on you, but this one here is just all smashed in and gone, and this plunger is actually sticking out. It might be kind of hard to see. This is a junk one, this is a new one, this is all folded over. Same thing with this guy here, it's all folded over. So it's not using any of that rubber plunging action. So I'll take a little bit of brake fluid. I don't like getting on these particular gloves, but I'll go ahead and just put a little bit on here. Wipe my finger off. And then we'll just go ahead and, it's really simple, just reinsert it back in, just kind of drop it down in there, push it. You can feel it kind of catch. Then we'll go ahead and, got two new, those one things that you screw stuff on, screws. You have your backing piece for your new, I can't talk today. I cannot talk today, I give up. Plastic washer, circlip here. Go ahead and grab our snap ring pliers. Get these bad boys ready. The funnest part is trying to push down, hold it in place. Usually I use use a Phillips head screwdriver. I don't know if you guys, it might be a little bit off the angle there. I'm gonna hold it against my stomach. Phillips head screwdriver, push it down. Get my circlip pliers. I didn't want to lose it like I did. All right. Now I'll just take the end of my Phillips head screwdriver, make sure I push the circlip all the way down there so it snaps into place. Guys, see, that's all the way in place. I like to turn my circlip just a little bit. Kind of like that. Dust seal. Very nice. Let's make some messes here. Dust seal, just like the other one, just put it back in the groove. That, go ahead and reassemble the handle. Don't lose a bushing. Little nut on the back, I'll go ahead and put that 4 in here to hold it in place. We'll make it snug. You don't want to make it crazy tight. You want the handle to still have some play in it. It's good and snug. Make sure the handle moves good there. So go ahead and reinstall this back on the bike now. And then we'll go ahead and fill it up and we'll try to bleed out the system. You guys can see as I pump this up here, you'll see all the air bubbles start coming out of that. So we got it reinstalled. Like I said, we're just going to go ahead and bleed out the master cylinder, pump it up really good, see if we can get all the air bubbles to stop. And then we'll go down to the slave cylinder, bleed it out like we were earlier in the video. This should cure our problem because this thing definitely did not pump out air like this earlier in the video when you guys saw that, with which, you know, it had a bad slave cylinder and apparently the master cylinder needed to be rebuilt also. So we'll go ahead and bleed out the system, try to get all the air out up here. Then we'll go down here again. It does have an oil leak somewhere. I don't believe it's not from the clutch, but we got to figure out where the oil leak's coming from. We'll go ahead and bleed that out, and then we'll take this thing for a test ride and make sure this clutch works 100%. All right, new master cylinder is installed. It is completely bled out. Got good clutch on it. Not sure where the oil leak's coming from yet, so I'm going to take it out, test the clutch, ride it. But remember, when you guys fill the clutch master cylinder up, the clutch heats up and expands, so don't fill it to the brim. You want, there's usually a low line and full line, but there's not on this one, so fill it a little bit lower. Just right above where it goes into the orifice for it. And then the way this is set up, it'll kind of push all that fluid that direction to keep it above that. So when the clutch expands and pushes fluid back in here, it has room to expand and doesn't hold your clutch pack open, causing it to slip. That's a pretty big problem a lot. You'll see brakes you'll fill up because when they get hot and the brakes wear out, it takes more and more fluid to hold the pads in because the caliper takes more volume. When the clutch heats up, it pushes back and wants to spread the clutch pack open and pushes fluid back up into here. So you want that to be a little bit low so it has room to come up. If it doesn't and it stops, that clutch pack will expand and your plates will start to slip side to side because they'll have a little bit of space in there. So remember, don't fill this all the way to the brim. Leave a good air gap in there and make sure you got it set back to factory specs. All right, guys, just got back from a test ride on that 2001 KTM 250 SX, I believe is what it is. Clutch works perfect now. Like I said, he said he rebuilt the master cylinder. Hispanic gentleman, didn't speak English. His wife was translating, but we knew there was a problem with the slave cylinder. So I ordered one from a Recluse. You guys saw that. They're about $199.99 plus all the other crap if there's not free shipping. And then also we had to order a clutch master cylinder from All Balls. I think that was about 50 bucks, something like that. Then we had to get the, got some Bel-Ray silicone .5 mineral oil for the clutch. And then we had to bleed that system out, and now everything works phenomenal. Took me a hot minute to get that thing to fire up, but once it fired up, it ran really well. Clutch worked phenomenal. Again, guys, if you got any questions about motorcycles, ATVs, or UTVs, you can drop me an email at limitlesspowersports78@gmail.com. Leave a comment down here below. Again, if you guys haven't liked and subscribed and turned on post notifications, man, please do that. Simple way to support your friends or anybody you follow. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out and it helps us keep producing content like this that you guys can enjoy. Again, I am Kyle with Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. I'll catch you guys on the next one.